Hey guys, I'm not even sure where to start here. I've been asked to do a toy room tour. Look, I'll give it a go. I've got a couple of rooms of toys here that are set up, and then other rooms where, because it's more of a toy house tour. There's your Lego Technics Defender. I'll just get it started there. Most of my stuff is vintage. I do collect a little bit of modern. I buy and sell stuff all the time as well. So I've gone and put that Lego Technics Land Rover Defender with the A-Team 6-inch. And then I've got a nice big Mr. T who I used to have as a kid, so he was a bit nostalgic for me. Love those 6-inch Mr. T and A-Team figures. Got Steve there from Minecraft. I've got a lot of games. This is probably about 20%, if you like, of my games, if that. Lots of games, absolutely everywhere. I just got rid of 155 games the other day. About to bring up a Nintendo Entertainment System upstairs with the Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, and actually set up a CRTV display, but just not quite up to that at the moment. Cronulla Sharkies there in the background, of course. Picked up one of these arcade one-up arcade machines, Mortal Kombat 2, which comes with some other games, which is pretty awesome. Actually got a lightsaber from the Saber Academy. So it's an actual proper dueling battle saber that you can hit against other sabers and it won't break like the ones you get from Kmart and Big W. Picked up a few Star Wars ships, as you can see there. Cool little fighter pilot in that one. Those ones are not super vintage. They are older, but they're definitely not super modern either. So then you come into a bit of vintage Star Wars. I've bought and sold much Star Wars. I've just got a little bit there at the moment, that big Legacy collection. Millennium Falcon. Those 12-inch figures are all vintage as well. So you've got the Vader, who's a bit bigger than 12 inches, the C-3PO. Princess Leia is having a bad hair day and a bad outfit day. Just a few of the little vintage figures in there. I just picked up another one of those tonight at auction. Thanks, Gourley. A couple more ships. There's a Darth Vader money box and some more ships there. That's a Boba Fett desk lamp, which actually lights up. You can see the Stormtrooper helmets around it, and quite a big R2-D2 remote control. So love those guys. I've been offered money for those. I just won't sell them. Nice big giant Darth Vader and Stormtrooper, and I've just got him holding Grogu there at the moment as well. You probably saw that Grogu. Big shout out to my mate Jurassic Jack, who hand delivered me all the way from Melbourne that popcorn bucket, which I don't believe we had in the town where I am. So at the moment I've got some vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mixed with some modern Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is another line that I have bought and sold many a time. And I think I sold around 200 figures or something not long ago, and started missing them and then started buying them back again. So there's everything from the 1988 first series right through to some of the NECA cartoon stuff, some of the movie stuff. That is an original Technodrome, which was the big piece that I wanted to make sure I got, complete with the eye. The eye is always missing on that, and people are happy to pay 50 or 60 bucks just to get the eye of the Technodrome. I love that wagon. Obviously, I am nostalgic for the other Turtle wagon, but I just think that one is super cool as well. It's a little bit newer, but it just works with that display. And as you can see, that cool little sewer display, it was heaps bigger, but I've lost pieces and thrown pieces away, and gets a bit warped over time, but that was absolutely huge, that play set. So yeah, bit of a super shredder. A couple of the bigger Turtles figures there. As you can see, a big mix and match. I just wanted it to be crazy, colourful, zany, radical, which I think we've managed to pull off. I don't mind. Some of this stuff falls over. Sometimes I pick it up, sometimes I don't. Batman was another one that I had a whole heap of. I probably sold around 100 Batman figures. And at the moment, I've just kept some of the favourites, rebuilt again. Absolutely love this one. This is I would say 1/6 scale or pretty close. I think it was from Batman Returns. Somebody will tell me if it isn't. Michael Keaton Batman, absolutely amazing. Just love the head sculpt on that, looking just like MK. and then the Superman versus Batman, the Christian Bale Dark Knight. My favourite toy as a kid was the 1989 Batwing. Of course, he came with Batman with Batrobe. I did have a complete one. I sold it, and I managed to pick up this little junker cheap at one of the collector-cons. So it's missing the cockpit, it's missing the fins and everything. But once again, I just got really sad once I got rid of it. Bought it back again, couple of Jokers there, more modern video game Jokers. Got a cool little Robin there too. Got this guy, which is a DX12, I think it is. Hot Toys, Heath Ledger, Joker from the Dark Knight. And that cool little piece as well, which is a Batman horse, which I thought was cool. Once again, bit of a messy collection with stuff falling over all the time. But that's probably one of my big treasured pieces. That is a 1966 Batmobile signed personally by Adam West and Burt Ward. There is a certificate of authentication there somewhere. A Batman Frisbee, which I remember having as a kid from 1989. There's a few bits and pieces that have fallen over there, as you can see. The Hot Toys or Toy Biz Batmobile. And a couple of the modern figures. And of course, that Joker, which was the one with the squirting orchid, if you remember, that was also from 1989, 1990 era. So right now I've done something a little bit different with these. You've probably seen one of my other videos of my street sharks and the fact that I actually have real fish swimming around, probably waiting for food. And I have actual street sharks, as you can see. The tank's just a little bit scaly at the moment, but I have actual street sharks in there with the real fish swimming around for a bit of fun. And I've got a couple of street sharks and extreme dinos in that collection. Love how menacing they are. I did just buy this one. I have been talking about doing a review on it, which is the modern Street Sharks remakes. I think it'd be interesting. It's basically that figure there again, years and years later. So yeah, pretty cool. Street Sharks, and then with the dino theme again, I've just got a dino eating a shark, because why the hell not? And then down to Bravestar, which is also falling over. Lots of bits and pieces there for Bravestar, pretty much a complete collection. Got the backpack Bravestar there as well, which is pretty hard to find. Couple of wagons, things, Colonel Borobot with his trumpet, which you never find. 3030, there's his gear there. There's extra bit of gear too I've got to give to Scotty. He's picked himself up a 3030, and I told him I'll get him some bridle and gear from there. So this is the Motu, Masters of the Universe, mainly vintage. I think you may have seen this also in a video. So this is a collection of vintage. It's a collection of origins. There's all sorts of stuff in there. There's a bit of She-Ra. The two play sets, Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain, are vintage. However, the Talon Fighter is a modern remake. Got the Skeletor mask up there, which I did a video on the other day, and the Ghostface mask. You got Spydor, you got a 200X Panther, just figure after figure in there. Love these little cups we got the other day for the Masters of the Universe movie. I'm about to do a figure review. I've picked up a bunch of figures for the movie, and I haven't unboxed them or done anything yet, which I'll show you shortly. So there's a few origins. I love that figure. He's falling off his mantra at the moment, but it's still super cool. He's an Origins figure. That's a 1981 8-back He-Man first release. You can actually see the lack of paint. That was the way that they actually came out and were sold. One of the big calling cards for the 81 series. And then on the backs, if you look at the swords, in particular the weapons on the back, there's numbers. I think that's actually got a series 1 on it, so those numbers can go up to 30 or whatever, and that's how late those releases are. That sword is one of the really early numbers. I think that's a 1. I know there's a 1 somewhere in the collection and a 3, so that's actually pretty cool to have something so early. Got a Horde soldier there, he's looking a bit worse for wear. A couple of Origins just thrown in the mix. Battle Bones, which I loved as a kid, but you always just used to get frustrated and try and pull your figures out and it'd snap off those little pieces. That's a really cool little setup. That's got a old 81 first release He-Man in it as well. The Tower Tools, I think they called it. Got the Battle Armor He-Man, Grislaw, lots of Skeletors in this collection. These are modern, I think, for the most part. I think that Sorceress is, yeah, she's not the vintage one. She's probably the only modern one out of that lot. There is a Sorceress there somewhere that's vintage. See if we can spot the vintage Sorceress kicking around somewhere. No, I think she was the vintage one. Yeah, because I think that's the... No, that's the vintage one there. And that one there. She's got the more articulation. Love that little carry case. Just hoping that my mobile phone battery will continue to work for us. Just got a Hulk up there with the dog food. Bit of a Looney Tunes shelf. At the moment he's fallen over. And looks like he'll probably continue to fall over. And he also looks like he's fallen over. There's a few little Tarzos in there too, the Space Jam Tarzos. I love the Space Jam movie. Also shout out to Jurassic Jack, who has given me what would be, I reckon, 4 meters long or 5 meter long movie banner for Space Jam, which as soon as I get the room, I'll be putting that up. Actually a proper plastic material banner. So I've got these. Love basketball, love Michael Jordan, Bugs Bunny. Who doesn't love Space Jam? Who doesn't love Looney Tunes? A couple of those have fallen over as well. Seems like a couple of my collection have face planted. Bit of Harry Potter, Looney Tunes. There's a couple of those figures there. There's one up the back there also. Got some Dick Tracy. Coppers and Gangsters, a couple of carded figures, a couple of Imperials, a couple of bootleg lines. Bit of fun. Old Chinosaurs, some Beetlejuice, Bucky O'Hare. Just a cool, colourful line. I love my music, being a DJ and radio guy. So I've got a bit of a music section here. I've actually got these Wizard of Oz figures in boxes and a full collection downstairs. I might do a video on those at some point as well. They're just the loose ones. There's Michael Jackson, AC/DC with Angus Young. Fallen Over again. This should be called the Fallen Over collection. David Bowie from Labyrinth, one of my favourite movies. The legendary Alice Cooper. That's a little guy there from Labyrinth. And you've got the Simpsons remote control vehicle. A few little 3 3/4 Should be a scarecrow there. Yep, he's fallen over in the background as well. Just a couple of cool vehicles along with the Simpsons vehicle. You've got the Back to the Future. Love Commodore Utes. I've owned a heap of them. That's a bit of a tribute to my love for Commodore Utes. That's the VU Holden Commodore Ute. And that's the Harley Quinn Jada Toys Corvette. Thought I'd get these. They were something a little bit different, a little bit crazy. Stink blasters. They were figures that come with stink bombs. And there's a grape. So, over to this part. There's a Aquaman. I don't even know what he's doing. Another one that I'll probably do a video on, which is the Megatron Skeletor from the collab with Masters of the Universe and Transformers. This was a cool little wooden piece I picked up the other day, and I just put a couple of figures in there, a couple of PVCs and whatnot. Just a sweet little wooden thing. We just trimmed it up a bit to fit in Sonic and some Pokemon, some Lego minifigures, Fortnite, the original Muppet Baby set there as well, Launchpad McQuack, so some DuckTales, some Tailspin, Mario Kart, just a few of those little PVC figures, a really cool die-cast Batman and the Harley Quinn that goes with that Jada Toys, a vintage Transformer, little turtle van, a couple of turtles, and more Muppet Babies. So that was just a sweet little piece there that we decided to compile a bit of stuff. So we've been through room number 1. This is coming towards the back end of room number 2. We've got room number 3 and room number 4, but at the moment they're even messier than what these are. So my favourite childhood action figure as a kid would have been Warlord. So I've got a carded Warlord up the back, which is pretty special to me. Spike appears to have fallen over. The Galaxy Warriors vehicle, that comes in different variants depending on the colours. That's the more common one, but still really hard to find. Then there's another one which is pretty common, and then there's the black one which isn't common. That's a Skullman. So if you know Skullman and Sunman, which is the guy behind him, then you know what they're worth. They're pretty pricey figures, around the 500 Australian dollars at the moment. Try and get to the back of that. It's all sorts of stuff from some pretty rare bootlegs, Ninja figures, and there's Chuck Norris and a whole bunch of other stuff there, right through to some of those bootlegs. This is a bit of a mini bot collection, so there's some vintage GoBots. You've got a G1 Optimus Prime making up the setting of the cool little ladybot in the background. You got a couple of vintage GoBots, and then you've also got a modern Megatron, which Cashy wanted to add to the collection, and other bits and pieces there as well in the Minibots line. This one here, which I also want to do a video on, was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. If you remember the Transformer watches, this is basically a bootleg Voltron type of watch. It comes with the watch band and everything, which I'll show you when I get to the Voltron part of the collection, but it actually all joins together to create Voltron, or a Voltron type bootleg character, which is just absolutely awesome. Or you can just have the black line on the watch band and wear it as a digital watch. So that's pretty special. That's one of my favorite pieces in my collection, and something that I will do a video on, show you guys how awesome it is, because I can't find a YouTube video on it at all. Bit more Chuck Norris there, Karate Commandos. You've got some vintage Thundercats. There's Lady Death and some wrestling. And then those figures carry on. Ninja and his Combat Master, Galaxy Warriors, Galaxy Fighters, RoboCop. There's a bit of Futurama there. A couple of the rarer bootlegs up the back. You got a Baltard. Everybody loves Baltard. These Savage Worlds were really cool. Basically He-Man scale figures of some of your favourite toy lines and comic lines. There was horror ones with Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger and whatnot, which I've actually sold. But I kept those ones, which are Batman and the Joker. Just another cool little hound piece for Transformers. You got Scooby-Doo. There's Velma. That's a full set of those. I think we've got Fred and Daphne in the van at the front. You can see through there. And then a few of the ghosts. Shaggy. And there should be somewhere as well. I think it's on the other side. Excuse the bench. You've got almost the creature of the Black Lagoon style figure. I can't remember what his name is. And 10,000 Volt Man, which is the harder one to get out of this series. Also got this piece, which is pretty cool. Pirates of the Dead Seas. I actually want to bust him open, but he's worth a bit of money just to put his leg back on because his leg's fallen off in the packet, which is annoying. But because he's super cool, I've just left him there at the moment. These are Mighty Ducks. Nostalgic for the movies, not so nostalgic for the cartoon series, but I just started buying these, and once I started buying them, I just kept buying them and ended up with a heck of a lot of Mighty Ducks figures. So I just buy them when I see them, and you can see a couple of doubles in there because I'm not sure what I've got, what I haven't. One of my other favourite nostalgic pieces as a child was Inspector Gadget. Super cool. And that one's got a few accessories and bits and pieces laying about. Love Sylvester Stallone. Managed to get a heap of Rambo, a couple of Rambo knockoffs, and some different Sly Stallone figures. There's a Rocky one there somewhere. I don't think it's in that lot. Might be in one of the others. Then we have a dip cup. I don't know why that's in there. Bit of dust on this shelf too by the looks of things. So you've got Toxic Crusaders. Not a full set of those. I just keep buying and selling them all the time. People keep asking me. It's a collection that I've tried to build. And they say, hey, Macca, have you got a Toxic Crusader? I need this guy. And I'm like, yeah, I got one of those. And then I just sell the figure to them and then realise that I never actually get to complete it. Just excuse those couple of bugs and stuff there. I just didn't see those. Skeleton Warriors. Full set of those figures, couple of accessories probably missing, but for the most part it's a fairly full collection. Got the War Horse there, which is really cool. And you've got a couple of the main bad dude. And a couple of those. Down to my little mate. He was just sitting with the Ghostbusters stuff. I've got to do something with him. I was actually thinking about painting him, or maybe getting back to paint him, make him cool colours, and put him in one of the toy lines. Love Shaquille O'Neal, so this is my Shaq Attack toy line stuff, as well as my NBA Hot Wheels cars, which, as you can see, pretty collectible stuff, particularly anything with Kobe on it these days. Got a couple of those little NBA headliners as well. Anything with Kobe on it has gone up in value due to his passing. So we've got some My Pet Monster. Beautiful, big, heavy Slimer. We've got a life-size Chucky from the Seed of Chucky, I believe. We've got a what you would think would be a life-size Tommy from Rugrats. And you got that Terminator Salvation head there as well. Tomb of Doom, this is probably one of the big grail pieces for Supernaturals. For anybody that collects Supernaturals, that's the harder one to get. And we've got a couple of the Ghostlings and a couple of the actual Supernaturals. and those dudes as well, which once again are becoming pretty tricky to find. Down to Voltron, I have Hunk with his yellow lion, Lance, Pidge, Keith, Aurora, I think her name is, the princess. I call her a princess. The pink chick, the only chick. Got that awesome skull tank, and this was the piece I was talking about before, the time bot. This is the watch, which I will do a video on. I'm losing battery power very fast. I think I've got about 5% left, so I will just do this part for the moment. We'll do the other room in another video. So I've got some Defenders of the Earth, got the Phantom, Ming, Flash Gordon, and then a bit of Terminator. So I've got a busted up T800 endoskeleton. I have a Trumpinator, which is Donald Trump as the Terminator. I've got Edward Furlong there, John Connor, a bunch of the bits and pieces there from the Terminator Judgment Day series, some of the NECA Movie Masters, Terminators, and the really nice figures. Absolute shit ton, pretty much the whole collection of the reaction figures. Extremely nostalgic for the Karate Kid. It was something that my late father and I used to watch all the time in school holidays. We grew up as martial artists. My whole life was Taekwondo till I became a black belt and instructor, and then obviously Dad passed at the age of 57, so it was something I did with him in the early years of my life. And Karate Kid was something that was pretty special to both of us that we sat there and we watched for a long time. So I've got all the VHSs up the back there. I've got a novel as well, which reminded me of one that I got from a book fair years and years ago that a mate of mine in the toy community gave me. Those Diamond Select figures. There's a Johnny Lawrence, and that is a signed Daniel LaRusso by Ralph Macchio. Very cool pop figure. Don't do a lot of pops, but if they're signed, I'll grab them and pay silly money for them. Then you've got what is mostly the collection there. There's a couple of costume variants, and the only one I'm missing there at the moment is the ref, and then maybe a variant or two, but for the most part all of the characters are there from the series, Terminator, and another Voltron there. So I've got, as I said, another room and a half to do, but I'll leave it at that for the moment. I'm going to do a video on these pretty soon. These are just the Motu movie figures that have just come in. So I'm going to unbox those and put those in my little Motu community over there. So looking forward to that. If you've got to the end of that, guys, thank you so much. If you can just leave a smiley face in the comments so that I can see that you've got to the end of it. I just think that people don't get to the end of my videos, so I think it'd be pretty cool to have a smiley face at the end just to show that you guys are enjoying the content. And I don't mind if I get 20 views as long as 20 people are watching the whole video. Anyway, that's about probably half of the collection for now, but I don't want to lose battery. So thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you on another video.